Oh man, remember what you married his last time?
Oh,
Oops.
H and Will T. Yeah, sorry I take over.
Oh, you're fine.
I just have so much stuff, you know.
Okay.
And I won't be here next Monday, so I'll miss your presentation on
Oh,
Toastmasters.
you're good.
But did you see that I shared it this morning?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I used that to send a reminder to my club.
There was a little black thing in your chair. Just because if it's hidden, I probably will forget. Thank you.
They're both working, Diane. You want both of them up here?
Yes, please. Yeah,
I may get with you next week
okay.
because I'm not the greatest at PDFs and Word docs and all that stuff.
Okay.
I didn't think about it till Friday, but do you need to know who the member is ahead of time? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. That gives some flexibility and if somebody can't be here, you can just, I mean, if it helps you to schedule an event. I don't have enough room for name tag on top of everything else.
You're like a decorated veteran.
I'm actually trying not to eat because I'm afraid I'm going to get cheese on me before I get up there.
I don't even know what's on there. It's all been good
There's
so
a
far.
note on Yeah, I don't know if John will be on Toastmasters again tonight. He's got to get something returned to his store by 7 o'clock tonight.
Oh,
So
must be doing a contest, but
that's what he said. He thought it was a
we
contest.
didn't have very many participants.
You know, there's probably a little bit of a challenge to, you know,
If I hadn't taken there was a Zoom training on how to be a Zoom master. I wouldn't like speaking on Zoom.
yeah.
But now that I learned the importance of asking questions and getting people engaged and asking people to time into the chat and turning on their video, it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I've learned I don't get warm food. Well, there's usually so much to do before I get here. It's just easier to. Run to the restroom and then get So if you want, I can walk around. I'd like to welcome everybody to today's meeting. Tony Harris is going to lead us in our prayer.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this week today, and we thank you for this time. We just pray that you would bless us and help us to go out and to make a difference here for you. We just thank you for everything you've done for us and for this food, Lord. Bless us with the nourishment of our bodies. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please seat it, please. And Tiffany Danto, one of our new members, please find in the microphone. There you go. Is going to introduce our guest today. All right, our first guest is a guest of Brad Halls, and it's James Miller. Gary. And our next guest is Terry Hoops, and he is visiting today, and he is hoping to join our club. Wonderful. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate you taking that on. If anybody else is interested in serving as a greeter, as Tiffany did today, please let Courtney know. She's coordinating our greeters. What do you do as a greeter? You get to stand up front, meet all the people coming in the door, say hello, and then introduce all of our guests. I'm going to ask Beth Blaisdell to start walking around the room. We are doing Pass the Hat today. You probably saw the emails that came out, one from Tom, one from me, as well as from the bulletin. Hurricane Laura did hit down in Louisiana. Several of our districts down there have a lot of damage, and we're going to help them out with a relief fund. So we're doing Pass the Hat today, and we're also doing a Pass the Hat next week. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, There is the ability to also do it via PayPal. So if you would look into your bulletin, or if you need the link, just give me a message and I'll help you out with that. But Rotary's known for doing a lot of good things in the world, and this is one of the ways that we can help our fellow Rotarians. What else? Would you like to come up and join me on this next part? Chase the hat down. That's a good thing. I've been invited. Are you guys ready? I've invited Tom to assist me in a special ceremony today. We are, as you saw my post on Facebook, we're handing out some bullying today. We're handing out some Paul Harris Fellow bullying. For those of you who might be new to the organization, Paul Harris Fellows, that the opportunity that we have as Rotarians to support the Rotary Foundation. And for each level that you participate in, you get a different pen. And we're going to first start with some brand new Paul Harris Fellows. Tom, you want to do the microphone?
Well, first, since I've been given the microphone, all of you should have gotten an email from me this morning announcing that I'm taking service hours for the month of August. And I've actually got some paper here, so if somebody wants to give me their service hours for August for nonprofit organizations in the community, I'd be more than happy to report that for you today. I'll also be reporting next Monday, and you can send me an email, just respond to what you got this morning. And that's the easiest way to do it. All right, let's see. Do we have? Yeah. All right. Courtney, Skip Ogle, Tom. Art, you come up, please. Once again, as Diane said, the Paul Harris Fellowship is a recognition of the efforts of an individual Rotarian over a lifetime of giving. And it starts out with $1,000 increment, and then you get a hint. That's what we're presenting today. And then, as you will watch the next few minutes, we will have advancements. Almost all of the advancements in these new kits that we are working on today are a product of the match campaign that we ran in July and August, May and June. Now it's worked its way through the approval process, and now we're doing recognitions. So Courtney and Art, on behalf of the South Island Rotary and the Rotary Foundation, I am proud to recognize you as new Paul Harris Fellows. And just so everybody knows, since these are the newest Paul Harris Fellows that we're going to have, everybody in the room that is a Paul Harris Fellow, would you please stand so that everybody can see the way it penetrates this organization? All right, y'all get it. All right, now we're going to do Paul Harris +1, Carol Conover, Kimberly Ashley, and John Gentry. Carol's apparently over right here. And the recognition now is that either Carol or on behalf of Carol, another $1,000 has been donated to the Rotary Foundation. Ta-da! now, Paul Harris +2, Jim Eccles. Surprise! As I said, oftentimes the individual does not know that they have achieved an advancement, and this is one of them. So, thank you, Jim. Now come over here so we get pictures also, right? We also would recognize today Dave Roberts, who becomes a +3. Jeff Johnson is not here, and he is now a +4, and so is Diane Kavanaugh. Our president. Oh, okay. And now we have some +5s. Jim Rollins, please come up. John Harvey is not here. And Andy Witt.
It is a lot of them. Right.
That's all of that?
That's all of that.
Okay. Did we get a big group? Big group?
Yes.
A friend, it was a friend of yours.
Oh, you really did that? I thought you said it.
I did. For a long time, Rotary has tried to identify different ways for individual members to support the foundation. Because the support of the foundation is how we accomplish virtually everything we do. Whether we're talking about the campaign to eradicate polio and polio plus, or whether we're talking about local projects like redoing the splasher pad down in Birchfield Park. Those dollars all come from our support of the Rotary Foundation. Another way is through what is called benefactor recognition. Arch Clark, the founder of the Rotary Foundation, once said, "No one can tell us what Rotary will be tomorrow. The one thing is certain, what Rotary will be tomorrow depends on what we Rotarians do today." Today, we give special recognition to a member of this club who has made a commitment to the future. Diane Kavanaugh has chosen to make a generous gift of lasting value, a gift to the Foundation's endowment fund, and puts her now in among the ranks of the Foundation benefit. Diane Kavanaugh understands that we live in a world with millions suffering from war, disease, poverty, poor medical resources, and inadequate educational opportunities. She understands that if we are to save and change lives, we must continue to seek ways to bring the world closer to peace and understanding. Diane has made a commitment to the Foundation's endowment, a legacy that will provide an income stream to meet these urgent human needs well into the future. On behalf of the South Valley Rotary and the Rotary Foundation trustees, we congratulate you, Diane, and thank you for your continued support of the Foundation. And this is cool. This is like the big Foundation certificates, only this is mine. And I will tell you, that this is the first one of these that I have presented, even though we do have other benefactors in our club. And this is one that I don't have. And here are your wings.
I got little wings to go with it. Thank you.
All right. And that concludes today's presentation.
He said not to give him the mic, right? For those of you wondering about that, so the benefactor, I went in and changed my life insurance policy to have part of my life insurance proceeds designated to the Rotary Foundation. It was just a small percentage of it. So anybody in here can do the same thing. And I encourage you to consider that for Rotary as well as any other organization that you might support. You know, when you have a legacy supporting an organization and then that organization, then you die, let's face it, we're all going to do that one day. It's nice to be able to continue to support that organization. All right, moving past the serious stuff here. Johnny, you want to do a member spotlight?
Thank you so much. Perfect transition. I read somewhere recently where this thing is almost too tall. You can see it. But I read somewhere, Mark Madison, who's one of my favorite authors, he simply said that the difference between an inheritance and a legacy is, does anybody know this out of curiosity? No? An inheritance is what you leave to someone. A legacy is what you leave in someone. And so that is so awesome. Thank you, Diane, for leading the way. Appreciate that. But today, we get to meet another one of our new members. And so the member that was going to be with us here. So I am glad to be able to pick, and it's already been pre-selected, I'm just making everybody nervous, Miss Henrietta Holt, come on down. We're going to get to know a little bit about Miss Henrietta. Do we have the other microphones?
Yeah, it's
Perfect. We'll go ahead and give this to Miss Henrietta. So don't be nervous, it's just simple questions, simple answers. Be truthful as much as possible. But we just simply want to get to know you. And so if you would, just share a little bit about what you do for a living.
And so what I do for a living, in 2012, I started a moving company called ICANN Moving Company. And in January of this year, I also bought a company called Caring Transitions, which is geared towards the elderly, moving into assisted livings and independent livings.
Fantastic. Now tell us a little bit about your family.
So I have 3 children. Isaac is 20, Kenya is 17, and Devin is 14. Wonderful kids, great kids.
Schools?
Well, we just recently moved to Tyler a week ago. So we've all gone to Brownsboro high schools, and next week I'll actually enroll them into Tyler Legacy.
A lot of legacy going on. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Chandler, Texas, in a little Pentecostal church.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
All right. Let's talk about recreation. You, your family, what do you have for fun in this area?
So I have a bad habit, and I am addicted to Chicago stepping, which is a form of dancing.
oh,
I actually traveled the world before Corona. I actually literally traveled all over the world doing that style of dancing, and that's what we do for fun. As far as what me and my kids do outside of dancing, really anything. They love being outside, so every day they love the neighborhood we just moved into, so every day they go for a walk. Whether I'm home to go with them or not, they go for a walk. So we like to be outside and do any activity outside.
What was the most interesting city you visited?
London.
Wow.
Yes, I love it.
Will we get a snippet of their dance?
Well, if I had someone to dance with, I would. He said Don Juan.
Okay, now, this is the one question I really like to ask everybody. What motivates you? What gets you up and going? I like what was asked a couple weeks ago, was what flips your switch, I think. Go ahead.
What flips my switch? I guess what gets me motivated every day to get up is not everybody is blessed to get up every day. Not everybody is blessed to be healthy and not everybody is blessed to have a successful career. Not saying that I do or anything, but not everybody is blessed to be in our position. So that motivates me to continue getting up, continue trying. I love people. I came here to the Rotary some months ago, and the whole atmosphere is just so nice. So I don't know. It's just being a blessing to be alive.
Absolutely. I heard that every day is a beautiful day. If you don't believe so, just try missing it. And lastly, and closing this, part of being a Rotary and getting to meet such wonderful people that have the same like-minded, same spirit, how can we, as Rotarians, help you in what you do so that you can be able to give back and do what you do?
So if you know anyone who is looking to move, who needs to clean out their garages, who is an excessive collector, we learn to put things away for them and get nice and neat. The thing that I love the most is the parent transition part. The fact that most families do not know that there is help out there. Whenever it's time to move your parents to assisted living and all that, we are there to take the ease off of the family who struggles the most with it, and there's help out there. So if you know someone that needs to move to assisted living, independent living, please give them my number. Go to assisted living, independent living, please give them my number. Also, who's just looking to move, we're always, yes.
What about if someone's not looking to move, they just need to break a hoarder habit and need someone to come in and get them organized? They'll do that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Are you talking about
Even with realtors, they stage houses. We go in and stage houses for them, and it's big help.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. So now we all get to know you a little bit more, and can we give her a warm welcome? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Johnny. I know we had this question last time, so I'm gonna have Johnny assist me. Can you show who else in the crowd with the camera for the people on YouTube? So everybody waiting for YouTube. Thank you, Johnny. We've already talked about service hours. Just a reminder, we are doing our book drive right now for the Liberty Council with Tyler. I saw that somebody brought in a couple of books up front, so thank you for doing that. We'll continue to do that near the end of the month. I will say that I know some of our local resale places like Hangers for Hope and Goodwill might have some great deals on books. So if you have a chance to go out this weekend, yes.
Pass the Hat raised $252 for our sister clubs in Louisiana.
$252. Great job. John, you want to talk about the grants?
All right, today is a deadline to get all of our grant applications in. From the proceeds from the spaghetti supper, we have $20,000 roughly that we were able to allocate for those grants. We haven't received a whole lot, not near as many as we did last year, and I'm sure part of that is because of COVID-19. So if you have some people in mind, some nonprofits in mind that you would like to make sure that they get their grant applications in, please do so today. Today's the deadline. And if we have a few more people that would like to be on the committee, please let me know. We have 5 currently. I'd like to have a few more. And that's it for now. So hope that we get more grant applications in. Thank you.
Just a couple of quick reminders before we move on to our room today. We have t-shirts in the back for sale. Okay, we've got t-shirts in the back. One second, Tyler. We've got t-shirts in the back. We've got a couple different varieties. We have the really nice ones that have our logo serving on the back, and then we have the $5. They're 10. Okay, I'm coming. There's logo serving on the back, and then we have the 5 out there, Tim. Okay, I'm coming. Sports, sorry. Anyway, so we have t-shirts that we have some that are $10 and some that are $5, some that are $10 and some that are $5. In your bulletin that went out yesterday, there are some information about some training opportunities that are coming up. One is the Take Rotary by Storm. It's the zone training, which is on October 31st, and then not October 31st, October 10th. And then the district training, district assembly, which is going to be on October 31st. Bill Mills.
I know this is, the Cowboys lost last night, finished second last night. There were some questionable calls and questionable officiating in that game. We are in high school football. And the two big schools, the two top high schools play a week from Thursday and a week from Friday. And the other schools, the 4A's on down, are playing right now, so I'm kind of amazed. They're actually 3 weeks in. We've got a few cancellations, but not many. So far, knock on wood, so good, limited fans, but fans are not traveling. There's a lot of restrictions right now, but they're actually playing football and playing some college football this weekend. So, they're little by little starting to actually have some stuff to really talk about here at long last. That's really big.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know about the rest of you. Football seemed a little lackluster yesterday with the fake cheering in the background.
That was fake.
That was you? Okay. Colleen, you want to come up and introduce our guest speaker?
Okay. First, we're going to thank Jerry for the glasses, because when you get older, you need to take your glasses. And obviously, haven't figured that out yet. Brad, our very own Brad Hall, is going to present us a quick tour of America's favorite game. Can y'all figure out what that might be?
Boy.
Yay! Thanks, Tyler. Born in Longview, he's a lifelong East Texas. He's got family in Tyler, moved here shortly after graduating from high school. He attended UT Tyler. Prior to moving back to East Texas, he spent time in Dallas, Little Rock, and Shreveport. In 1990, he made a very intentional decision to move to Tyler to raise his family. He spent 17 years in the car business, the sales manager at King Chevrolet until it sold in 2005, then sales manager at Hall GMC until 2010. He then made a career change and joined Southeastern Freight Lines as account manager in 2010. How many of you know Brad since the early 80s? Hands up. One. What's Brad since the early 80s? And I bet you know this fact I'm about to share. What's one thing about Brad that everybody else in this room doesn't know from the early 80s?
Oh.
Disc jockey. Everybody knows a disc jockey. There you go. Brad was a radio disc jockey in the early 80s here in East Texas. There's your little known facts about Brad. He's an avid and has global tournaments as far away as Syracuse, New York. He's taken his love of the game beyond the lanes, promoting and organizing events and working with the youth in the game. He's been a member of South Tyler Rotary since 2005. He is also known for his secret spaghetti sauce, as well as an excellent massager of spaghetti. If you don't know what that is, you can ask him after the meeting. Blended family of 6 children and 7 grandkids, all living in Tyler, and a member of this church right here. Please put your hands together and help me welcome Brad Hastings, who is going to ask questions, so y'all pay attention. He really does have fabulous prizes.
You may know her as Nicole, but today she's going to be Howard.
Woo-hoo!
I don't know who wrote that. I mean, that was nice.
What's your mother?
September's a tough month for Rotary to get programs. So I'm really short strong. All right, what you see up here, just real quick. The top left, it's kind of a cool building. If you've ever been to Reno, Nevada, that is the National Bowling Stadium. One of a kind in the world. Bottom right is the inside of the National Bowling Stadium. So kind of a cool place. If you ever happen to go to Reno, sit in there. You probably can't play, but you can at least say you've been in there. It's got the largest escalator I've ever seen anywhere. It's got to be 10 floors.
Wow.
And when you're dragging bowling ball bags, which you're not supposed to do on the escalator, it's like forever. Okay, top right, the bowling that we know of, American Tin Pin, is one of those pins. The other three is a candle pin. The one with the little blue ring is a Canadian 5 pin. And then the other one is a dog pin. I've got those, a couple of those up here. If you want to pass them around just to look at. All right, the biggest question from a bowler's perspective is bowling a sport? In my opinion, and my bowling friends' opinions here, we would probably say yes it is, but a lot of folks would say no. But if you look at it this way, professional bowlers, they'll be there competing as many as 40 games to qualify for the finals of the tournament. 40 games may not sound like much, but that's not counting practice. And if you think about it, the bowling ball weighs 15 to 16 pounds. You're going to throw it in 10 frames. So you're going to throw it at least 12 times per game. And that's just to make it to the finals. So think about the 40 games it takes to get to the finals. That's just to earn a paycheck for 1 week. So in a professional's mind, yeah, it's a sport. College bowling is recognized. Players are recruited to compete in combines, just like in baseball, just like in football. In fact, one of the combines is in Arlington, Texas. Arlington also is the home of the Research and Training Center, and they certainly consider the game a sport. For us league bowlers, we'll bowl 3 games in a night, maybe a couple of times a week, bowl an occasional tournament. But I will say, over the Labor Day weekend, it was a tournament in Milwaukee. It took 27 games to get from the start to the finish. They started at 9 o'clock on Friday and finished at 3 o'clock Sunday morning. So
Wow.
It's bowling a sport. Yeah, in that regard, I'll say it's a sport. Some of the things where we poke fun at it, Kingpin, Big Lebowski, okay, we'll take that. Taking your kids out for an evening of bowling, I'm sure that's recreation. So, is bowling a sport? The answer is yes and no. It's a sport if you make the choice to take it to that level, otherwise it's a recreational activity. The coolest thing about it, in my opinion, about bowling is where it came from. It's about 5,000 years old. It's probably the oldest game known to man. Dates back to the Egyptian era. Most experts actually believe it goes back 7,000 to 8,000 years, but they can prove it back to 3,200 BC, where they found a child's burial tomb alongside other artifacts that found bowling paraphernalia. Evidence of bowling also dates back to around 300 AD in Germany. Actually, since we're in church, monks would set up bowling pins representing human sin and temptation. And if they threw a roll of stone at it and knocked it over, that conquered your sin. How cool is that?
That's right.
Martin Luther may have translated the New Testament into German, and he might have posted the 95 Theses to a church door in 1517. He also wrote the first rule book with the game of 9 pins, which is over here. Kind of cool stuff. And then these dead guys, 1588, Sir Francis Drake was quoted as saying that he had enough time to finish his game of bowling and still beat the Spaniards. He did defeat the Spanish Armada, but he lost his game of bowling. And still beat the Spaniards. He did defeat the Spanish Armada, but he lost his game of bowling. King Edward III outlawed the game in 1366 for taking up too much archery practice time away from his army. King Henry VIII, he enjoyed the game, but he also liked to tax things. So he levied a tax on the game and banned it from the lower classes. And in 1477, King Edward IV issued an edict against bowls, cloche, and cales. And cloche, in case you're wondering, was an early form of croquet. Cales involved knocking pins down with a stick. We all know what bowling is.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Who's the idiot kid on that scoreboard? I still lose.
Hey, think it's easy to be angry. He was scoring it along with how he's keeping tally of his bombs and lose. Maybe another class will do that some more. Okay, Bowling comes to America in the 17th century. Illustrations by E.A. Abbey in New York City indicate that Dutchmen were playing a version of bowling in America around 1670. And in 1733, American literature happened in 1819. Old Rip Van Winkle woke up to the sound of 9 pins in the distance. That's the first mention. Okay, the 19th century game looked way different than what we play today. It's a 9-pin game, mostly played with pins in a diamond shape. I actually have them set up over here if you want to see the diamond shape. Became very, very popular in the Americas, but there was no standardization. Mostly played outdoors using balls and pins of various shapes and sizes. In fact, it became so popular, it became known as a gambling game that Connecticut outlawed the game of 9 pins. And that's where 10 pins came in. So in 1895, because the game was still widely varied, the American Bowling Congress was formed and brought actually rules and equipment standards to the game of American 10 pins. And American 10 pins became the world's most popular game, a version of the game, and it's played worldwide. The game of 9 pins, and the reason I bothered to set the 9 pins up, because this is kind of a cool thing, although 9 pins has been outlawed in 49 states in the United States. It is legal in Texas.
About right.
It's played in Texas. It's played in the Hill Country. German Hill Country, they have about 16 bowling clubs. And if you think bowling scoring for American 10 pins is wrong, there's 9 pins there. There's a way to get 12 out of it. I don't understand how to get
Algebra.
The 9 pin is actually known as the 12 pin. Okay. All right, so the first American 10 pins tournament took place in Chicago in 1901. There were 41 teams, 205 bowlers at the tournament. By contrast, in 2009, there were 17,200 teams, 86,000 bowlers that participated in Las Vegas, and I believe, Gary, I don't know if you were there, Jerry, or not. I know Gary and I were there in 2009 for that tournament. No, didn't get close. The oldest still operating bowling alley in America is called the Howard House. There are 2 lanes. It's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They still use pin boards. They have no automatic pin setters. The biggest tradition at the Howard House, I'm not sure I should say this in church, but the biggest tradition at the Howard House is the lady patrons leave the bras behind. Not sure where that started, but that's the tradition. So if you go there, you'll find bras hanging all over the bar area. A couple of major advances made in the game in the 20th century probably brought the game to where it is now. In 1905, Brunswick introduced a ball called the Evertree ball, made out of a mysterious new rubber product called Winterline. Prior to that, balls were actually made out of wood. The wood was called Lignum vitae, and it was also very dense, very heavy. So when Howard House had their 100th anniversary back in 2008, they actually found 5 old wooden 15-pound balls in their cleaning process. And in the early 50s, American Machine and Foundry Company, AMF, introduced the automatic pin center, and that really revolutionized the game. It took it much to the next level. So a little history about Tiger bowling here, or Tiger, City of Tiger bowling. I put a handout on the tables because there's just too much information to try to go through here. But in 1940, the Tiger Bowling Association was formed. In 1945, the Tiger Women's Bowling Association was created. But it took us till 2010 to bring those 2 people together. We were a little behind the times.
on equal rights. 2012, the Tyler Bowling Association took over the operations of the Longview Association and became the Greater Tyler MSBC Association. We have about 1,300 active bowlers in Smith and Gray County. So, where did it start in Tyler? In the 20s, and it's as far back as I can find. In the 20s, there was a bowling center on 224 North Broadway called Ludd Ryan's Bowl. 224 North Broadway is right next to the Weisenberg, right there. So in 1932, the Tyler Bowling Alley opened. It had 8 pins, 8 lanes, and 2 duck pin lanes, which is the small pin that just came down. It was located where the Discovery Science Place is now in that same building, right across from the Blackstone Hotel. They were there until 1935 when they moved to the second floor of the Needle Simpson drugstore, which is now where the Weisenberger building is. Could you imagine being in the drugstore while they're bowling upstairs? 1939, Texas Bowling Alley opened on Spring Street next to the Joy Theater. Anybody here old enough to remember the Joy Theater besides my mom in the back? And it was there for quite some, probably 11 years or so. The first 300, by the way, if you don't know, 300 is a perfect game. The first 300 ever scored in Tyler was scored in Aberdeen, Texas Bowling Alleys is what they call them. Broadway lanes opened in 1941 on the corner of North Broadway and Locust. It closed in 1946. That building is where the Discovery Science Annex is now. Texas Bowl changed its name a bunch of times. JNC Bowl, Moonlight Bowl, among other names. The second and third, nobody remembers the second 300, or the second hole-in-one or whatever, but I'm going to give them some recognition. The second 300 in Tyler was shot in 1948 by a guy named L.J. Stevens, and the third was shot in 1950 by P.M. Hartman. By the way, the guy that shot the first one, his parents had no personality. His name was George. George. I can't wait for somebody to say Elton John. All right, so some of the other bowling centers in there. Bowl War opened in 1951 at the corner of Locust and College. It burned down in 1957. Ironically, the month before the Rose Bowl burned down, Bowl War burned down, Rose Bowl opened up. Rose Bowl was the first to have automatic pin centers in East Texas, and that's located where Habitat's new store is, now at the corner of Front and Dallas, and closed in 1971. Green Acres Bowl opened in 1958, expanded to 32 lanes in 1972, and everybody knows what Green Acres Bowl is. There was one other bowling center I could find nothing on called College Bowl. It opened in 1963, and that's all I could find. I couldn't find an address or anything. So, and then the newest in Tyler, which we'll get a brief mention, is Times Square, and there's spring bowling. You weren't listening. All right, so in 58, the professional bowling tour was formed and debuted on TV in 1962. Amateur bowling shows were also pretty common in early days of television. In fact, bowling on TV was one of the most popular shows, if not the most popular sporting show on television. The PBA tour, Pro Bowlers Tour, was the intro to ABC's Wide World of Sports. If you remember Saturday afternoon, Wide World of Sports. The PBA tour was right before that. First $1 million sports figure in any sport came from bowling. And that would be, unfortunately, I don't think you can see this one on top there. Don Carter was the first $1 million sports figure. The oldest sports magazine in the U.S. is the Bowler's Journal. It It's still a monthly magazine. Only baseball and golf have Hall of Fames older than the Bowling Hall of Fame, which is located in Arlington, Texas. The Bowling Hall of Fame, the museum, and the International Training Research Center are all located on Six Flags Drive. And they're probably 10 years moved from Wisconsin. Chris Schenkel was the voice of the Pro Bowlers Tour for a long time. If you're old enough, you might remember Chris Schenkel, but some of the other names that were his sidekicks, we all know. Vern Lundquist once was a sidekick. Al Michaels was a sidekick on bowling. Jack Buck and Keith Jackson, they all did play-by-play for professional bowling on television. And the first 300 bowl on TV was in 1967 from Jack Biondello, and he was the first guy. There weren't very many 300s at that time. 300s were fairly commonplace nowadays. Okay, the most popular participation sport in the world is American tennis. 95 million people bowl on average daily. What happened?
I'm sorry.
Oh, this was for you.
Thank you.
Is that your
This was for me. So,
Vanderbilt's first national
title
in any sport was bowling. Yes, women's bowling.
If I'm not mistaken, that was CNF offense first, that championship of the game.
which is why they're up there. Okay, 95 million people bowl on average daily in over 90 countries worldwide. 70 million people in the USA bowl at least once a year. There's about 2 million active league bowlers and amateur tournament bowlers. It's a $6 billion industry in the US. It's a big deal. Bowling has youth leagues, organized high school programs. Unfortunately, we don't have an organized program in East Texas. NCAA college programs, notably Nebraska, Vanderbilt, Sam Houston State, and SFA. All four of those colleges have won national titles in collegiate bowling. SFA has won twice. So, Vandy's won twice too? Okay. All right. There's about 300 colleges that participate in the NCAA women's program. Those four are all winners. The men's bowling programs are also strong. It's not NCAA recognized. There's some Title IX stuff that takes place there that prevents that from happening. But it is also a strong program for the men as well. Like we talked about, professional men and women have their own bowling tour, professional tour. Amateur events are held all over, like I mentioned, every weekend, the Longview Doubles. The winning team bowled 27 games over 2 days and took home $10,000. Not too shabby. Can't make a living at it. It's a good side job. It's not an Olympic sport, but it is. Bowling is a staple in the Pan American Games. It has been for many years. It has been showcased in the Olympics, but it's not a sport. Having a hard time understanding how we can be in 90 countries and not be an Olympic sport. And then that other game where they use the broom and the thing. Hurling. Yes. Okay. The game of bowling, anybody can play it, a few people can excel. Some of the challenges of the game will include targeting, hand-eye coordination, arm swing, release, how you let the ball go, ball speed on the technical side. Type of the ball that you use, it has to be the same size. You can't use these other ones, but you know what I'm saying. The type of ball you use, the way the ball is actually drilled for your hand and for the ball, and the way the lane is actually oiled. The lanes, you notice if you go to a bowling center, it'll take you across the foul line. Lanes are slippery. There's oil out there. The oil is the challenge. I like to use the interpretation of when golfers talk about greens, how they change with pin placement, where they cut the greens, how short or tall the greens are. That comes into play in bowling, only it's much more, it's hard, you can't see it, it's invisible. Our opponent is invisible. If the lanes are laid out with extraordinary amount of oil, the balls won't hook. And if there's not enough oil out there, it will hook off the lane. So, and there's all sorts of patterns. There's probably 1,000 or more patterns that they can use. Make it easy, hard. So how it occurs, if you look over here, you'll see skip, hook, roll. The first 20 feet of the lane is actually where most of the ball is. Balls are not going to do anything but slide through that or skip through it. But if you're rotating the ball, and you let it go, once it gets past the skip part, it'll hit the hook area and start to rev up or spin. And then once you get the outlet they will go where the oil pattern ends, you'll now grip the lane and start to move towards your target. The back end, by the way, is called the back end. There's no oil back there. The ideal strike shot, if you want to know, the ball enters on the 17.5 at a 5-degree angle and strikes only 4 pins. If you do that every time, it's right every time.
That's what I'm doing right.
The 4 pins are for right hand. 1, 3, 5, and 9. You just have to know where those are. So I can picture
Yeah. Well, that didn't help me any.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
1, 3, 5, and 9. That's what it was. 1, 3, 5, and 9 is a perfect strike shot. The pins are the rest of the work. That is not the only way to strike, but that's the perfect strike. Okay. Everybody, earlier today, they said, why don't you cut the ball in half? Well, I don't want to cut it so we don't have a ball in half, for one thing. But here's what an inside of a bowling ball looks like. Okay, so the item in the middle is called a weight block. It's going to be a different shape. Depending on the manufacturer of the ball, if they want that ball to do in particular on the lanes. The part between the outside and the weight block is called the bowler, and then the outside is called the cover. All of that comes into play on how that ball is going to react. The cover has actually the most, means the most as far as how the ball is going to react on the lane. Where the weight block, which is considered the engine, that's going to have an effect on how well the ball rotates through the oil on the lane. All those items come into play on how the ball will react on the lane, what kind of movement it has, and then the last item on here is the pin, and all that pin is just a spot on the ball you can see. That's where the pro shot operator to know where the top of that weight block is when he gets ready to drill the ball. The pins, 3 pounds, 6 ounces. They're 15 inches tall, and they're still made of hard rock maple with a plastic coating. And that one pin is plastic. The one pin was actually clear coated. That's the way the inside of the pin looks. For a pin to fall, it's got to tip a minimum of 11 degrees. The lanes, historically made of wood. That's why you hear reference to the boards, because they were made of wood. The first 20 feet were made of maple, the back 20 feet or 40 feet made out of pine. Lanes are 41.5 inches wide, or 60 feet long. And the lanes nowadays are made out of synthetic material, nothing more than compressed sawdust, MDF basically. There are 39 boards on the lane. The very middle board is called the 20 board. And you've got 19 on each side of that board. And that is pretty much it for bowling. I didn't realize the amount of time. But I have a couple of trivia questions, and I can take questions if you have them. So hopefully nobody has any questions. But, saw the MDF. The top is a printed surface. If you look real closely at each individual lane, all of the light and dark spots from the same area. All the same.
It's a hook on the wrist. I've never had a hook.
But it's the hook is in your fingers and in your legs and the volumes. The power that you get is not from your arm. The power comes from your legs.
Ask the question.
Net, to be exposed to that, to get more weight.
All right, I do have a couple of trivia questions, if we don't have time. Okay. All right. This is, I think I skipped over this. What's the name of the German game? The German name of the game? Nobody's gonna get it. It's actually called Skittles.
It was on a
Oh, it was
slide.
on a slide? Okay, so shame on you all for not reading
I
the
saw
slide.
Skittles. I did see Skittles.
How many strikes does it take for a perfect game?
Ooh. No. More than that.
You don't count.
30.
12.
Tom, you bowling league. You're supposed to know that anyway. No. The answer is 12. All right, so it takes 12 strikes in a row to bowl perfect game, 3 in it. How long is the lane? What's the lane from the head pin? How tall is the bowling pin?
15.
Here's what you want that is widest spot.
Oh, no idea.
What's the circumference of the bowling pin?
7.5 inches.
Circumference. 15. And that's enough. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see. But hey, let me answer that question. The guys that came with me, I know there's 1, 8. 9, 5, 10. All right. So you're among bowling greatness. Yes, sir.
How important is just bare bone muscular strength to speed the ball down there?
It's all in your legs. If you get done bowling and your arms hurting, you're not doing it right.
That means Brad's got good legs. Just saying, ladies.
If you watch them on TV, you'll see most of them are in pretty good shape. That's become kind of a thing. Because that was a stigma of the game. You could be beer belly and still do it. But most of the players nowadays are all in shape. But when you hear them talking, they're always talking about the leg condition. You hardly ever hear them talking about the body condition. Because this part, the ball is to this point. If you get it up to here, that's all you gotta do. The rest of it's gonna be your leg work, and then just let the ball, let the gravity take control.
So power and speed are important.
They are, sure.
And last question.
You knock down 10 pins, you get a strike.
Right. That's correct.
I gotta tell you, one night, I was at a Builders Association little fun night, and Brad walked in, and I called him over and said, "Hey, Brad, could you just throw 2 or 3 balls for me down this lane?" And he said, no. He said, "I don't have my bowling shirt on." So he was a shirt. Then I said, "Oh, come on." He said, "No, I don't have my bowling shoes on." He just had his street shoes on. And I said, "Oh, come on, just throw it." And he said, "Well, I don't even have my bowling ball." I said, "Well, use this one I'm using." He threw 3 strikes.
Several. There may have been beer involved. With Tom, not me.
All right. We're going to find out on Thursday at the board meeting how much money is in the pot. The last 3 digits. The last 3 digits are 048. 048.
048. While Tom is looking through his purse to see if that's his ticket or not, a couple of quick announcements to wrap up. There is a board meeting this Thursday at 4:30 via Zoom. All the board members should have received the link. If you're not on the board list and you're interested in attending, let me know. I'll send you the link. Please keep Vanessa Bostic in your prayers. She lost her mom recently. And I will not be here next week. I'm going to go camping, so I will be in the great outdoors. And Beth will be leading the meeting on my behalf. It's fine.
You know what we're having to do? He worked really hard.
And despite what Brad said about, Slim Pickens in September, we were really excited to hear that presentation.
It was good.
We get to know you a little bit more and learn a little bit more about Oakland. All right, well, we're after 1 o'clock, so I'm late for 1 o'clock, John, and it's been right here. So let's wrap up with the 4-way test led by Beth, please.
The 4-way test are the things we think, say, or do.